Hey there, hope all is well. The plan of this video is talking about RTK, which is Redux Toolkit, and as web applications and React Native app, the things with managing state, sometimes managing a state in JavaScript or TypeScript can be challenging, right? That's where Redux comes in. And we can just take a brief about what exactly the Redux and how does it work. And Redux is a state management library, which is provide a way to manage the state of your applications in a single place called as a store. The core concept of Redux are actions, reducers, and a store, where actions are payloads of information that send data from your application to the Redux store, and reducers specify how application state changes in the response to actions sent to the store. And the log things, which is the store, holds the current state of your application. So what exactly RTK and how does it improve Redux? Actually, RTK or Redux Toolkit is an official toolset for Redux, which will simplify common Redux tasks. You will not have this hassle of creating for every task actions, reducers, and selectors. So RTK will improve performance and developer experience as well, because on, for example, create a slides, which we'll talk about this later on in this video, can generate action creators and reducers based on a given slice of the state tree. So you can spend less time on people play and just more time building great applications. So now let's get started with how actually we can integrate the RTK in our project. Well, to add Redux toolkit in the project, we need to yarn add Redux JS backslash toolkit. After adding it, we will need to prepare some stuff to handle the store. So let's let's start with initialize API slice, which will be needed in the store. So let's create a file, call it API slice. In this file, we need to export the function from RTK, which is called create API. So let's do it like this. Export default, create API. And as you see here, it's imported from Redux toolkit. And this function takes an object as its argument, which has several properties. Let's talk about some properties there. One of these properties called reducer path. And this reducer path is a string that specifies the path where the API's reducer were mounted in the Redux store. So let's call it, for example, API. The second one is base query. This is an object that defines default query function used by all endpoints. So let's define this one. Let's keep it like this, and we will define this function after we finalized all the properties inside the create API. Third one is tag types. And this tag types is an array of a string that represents the names of the tags used by endpoints in this API. So far, we don't have anything. We will just keep it empty. But after we create the user slice, we will come back here and update this. we also have something called endpoints. And this endpoint return an object contain endpoints definitions for this endpoint. So this is the properties which we will need to handle in the create API. It's compact and updates the base query. And for base query, we mentioned that it's some object, so we will create it, the object dependent on something called fetch base query. So this is will be important from the toolkit, Redux toolkit as well. And here we can control what exactly the URL will be used or will be shared across applications. So here the base URL will be the website here backslash API because we will use APIs. And yeah, we define this. And regarding the endpoints, actually, we don't need this now. We can just path it with empty like this. So we now define the create API, which we will need it in the store. The next step will be define the store. Well, for the store, we will need to use the configure store function, which is provided by Redux tool. So we will just export constant, and we can name it store and import configure store from the Redux toolkit. Here we will have some property. First one, it's a reducer. And reducer property is an object that specifies how the state should be updated when actions are dispatched. In this case, there is only one reducer, which is reducer created by API slice. So here, as you see, it will be something like this. If we go here and make API slice.reducer like this, and it will be a string. If we go to pack to APIs reducer, it will be this. Okay, so we can do something like API slice.reducer. Second property is middleware. And middleware property is a function that applies additional functionality to the dispatch process. In this case, it's adding the middleware provided by API slice to the default middleware provided by Redux. And middleware can intercept and modify actions before they reach to the reducer or perform other tasks such as logging or asynchronous operations and so on. So here we will do it like this. We defined a get default middleware, which is provided by Redux toolkit as well. And here we go to default middleware.contact, and we will add a middleware from API slice. Okay. Finally, there is a diff tools. And this property enables the use of Redux diff tools extensions in the browser, which allows for easy debugging and inspections of the state changes. So we can just enable it to be true. And after we define the store, we will need to just add another package, which is called, because we will need this, we will need provided from this package to just pass the store to it. So the package called Redux, React Redux. So let's add it with yarn types React Redux. So let's go to the root, which is app. And here we just need to wrap the user list with the provider from React Redux and just pass it the store which we just created. The provider component here makes the Redux store available to all components in the component tree that are wrapped within it. So this allows child components to access the state of the application without having to pass data down through multiple levels of proofs, right? So in this particular example, the user list component is wrapped within the provided component, so it will have access to the Redux store, and the user list component will be able to use the store's state and dispatch actions to update the state if necessary. Okay. Now, after we define all these stuff, we can actually get rid of this import. No need for it. After we do all this, now we can go with modeling and create a user slice to just know how exactly consume RTK to fetching the data from the endpoint. We will do this in the next video. See you there, and thanks for watching.